Hello and welcome back to another lighting breakdown. This one is for our latest short film, Two Truths, One Lie, where we filmed an outdoor dinner scene at night. And if you haven't watched the film already, you can do so right now. I will link it up here and then you can come back to this video. In this scene, we have two people going on a third date. So I wanted to have it really cozy and romantic and really nice and warm colors. Before the shoot, I made a mood board of what I wanted this dinner scene to look like, and I think we gotten really close and I'm really happy with the result. Let's dive right in and talk about the space that we had to light. We used my rooftop terrace here as our location. When they're first coming upstairs, you can see that they're primarily being lit by these light bulbs that are hanging all over the terrace. So here we wanted to use these light bulbs as our motivating light source. When using these cheap practical lights in your shot, you need to be careful that they're not flickering. And with the Red Komodo X and its global shutter, we were able to actually dial this in perfectly, so there was no flickering. But on the behind the scenes, you can actually see that all the lights were pretty much flickering all the time, so you need to be careful and watch out for this. Another thing when lighting a scene, but I'll talk about this a little later, is that you don't want these to spill onto your actors, because we really want to control the light on our actors, and we only wanted to have them to light our background. But again, I will talk about this a little later. The other practicals that we used in the shot were these purple lights that I had in my plants, and those worked out perfectly and added a lot of color to the scene. If I didn't have them already, I would use some RGB light tubes and recreate the effect, just to add some color to the scene. The last practical light we used in this shot was from the downstairs kitchen, and we just didn't turn off the kitchen lights, and therefore you could see them in the shot when we were filming the male actor, and it made the background a little bit more interesting. As always, when lighting a scene, we're exposing for the lights that we can control. In this case, this would be either the practicals or just the ambient light, the moonlight, the sunlight, etc. Here, we actually had a decent amount of control over all of our lights. I could dim the light bulbs, I could change the color on the plant lights, and I could also dim the light on the kitchen lights. Once we exposed for the background and all the practicals, we needed to bring in our key light. Since our motivation was coming from the light bulbs hanging above our talent, we wanted to have a really nice soft top light. The perfect light for these kind of scenes, in my opinion, are Intellitic light mats, and we used the Mega 6 for this, and this is roughly the size of the table, so it fit perfectly above our two actors. The Intellitic Mega 6 is actually pretty light considering its size and power output, so this makes for the perfect top light. We were able to get this light above our actors with just a C-stand, a boom arm and a lot of sandbags. I would still highly recommend using a stronger light stand, like a combo stand, but unfortunately I only had a C-stand, so this is what we made do with. And again, due to the lightweight of the Intellitic, that was actually fairly easy. Another great thing about the Intellitic light mats is that they are bicolor. I even have the RGB version, which we didn't need in this shot, but the bicolor version made sure that we could actually match our light sources that we had, in this case our light bulbs, and therefore give off this really nice and warm tone. One thing that's really important when using a top light is control over your light, because you want the light on your actors, but you don't want to spill it around the entire scene and the background. And in this case, as I mentioned earlier, we also didn't want the light bulbs to actually give off some really low quality hard light onto our actors, so we could actually use the big light and flag them off from the actors as well. You can get a lantern softbox for all of the Intellitic lights, even the Mega 6 and the Mega 8, and this gives this really nice and soft light. And it also comes with a skirt, and this way we can have full control over our light spill. So here we attached the skirt all the way around so that we didn't have any spill onto the background, and we're also blocking the light bulbs from spilling onto our actors. Here I was already really happy with the results. As a little additional extra, we also placed our softbox a little bit more over our male actor than our female actress. This way we had less catchlight in the eyes of our male actor and more in the eyes of our female actress. And this way she was looking more friendly and lively, whereas he had a bit of a dark tone to him. And spoiler alert, he was the murderer in this, so this maybe gave off a bit more of an uneasy vibe towards the lighting setup onto him. We also placed a candle on the table just as decoration, but it also gave off a really nice warm tone, and you could see the flickering of the candle in the actors' faces, and I really liked this as an extra touch. The last thing I wanted to do is to create a little bit more color contrast, because now we had all these really warm color tones aside from our purple lights in the background, so I wanted to add something a lot cooler. So here we went for something looking like moonlight, because we were already outside and it was night. And for this we used the Forza 500B2, and here we could have gotten away with something way smaller, and the 500B2 was way overkill in power. We set the color temperature on our Forza 500B2 all the way up to a really nice and cool tone to contrast our warm lights from the Keylight as well as the light bulbs. The Keylights and the light bulbs were set to roughly 2700 Kelvin, and they gave off this really nice and warm light. So our Forza 500B2 was set to around 8000 Kelvin. And this in contrast made the background light appear almost bluish. At first we tried shooting the Forza light just off to the background, but it was way too hard and it had way too much spill. So it really didn't look good and it was kind of overpowering our actors. So what we did is we wanted to diffuse it. We also used a 4x4 floppy to control our light even further. We didn't want the light to spill either onto our actors and not everywhere on the background. So with this little 4x4 we could actually control the light pretty decently. So this way we had a really nice color contrast in the background when filming our male actor, and it also doubled as a hair light for him to separate him from the background a little bit more. Furthermore, it also gave all of the other angles a bit more color contrast and not have the warm light overpower the scene. I was really happy with the lighting and how the shots turned out. The one thing that I would have changed in hindsight, but we didn't have enough time on set because we were running against the clock, was to give our female actress a bit more of a hair light, because her brown hair actually was kind of drowning in the background a little bit, and I would have liked to get maybe a tube light in there that also gave off a bit of a cooler tone. And just as a bonus here, before setting up our Keylight for the main dinner scene, we had a couple of scenes where they were just walking onto the terrace and just talking to each other and looking around. And here we used a smaller Intelitech light mat, also with a lantern attachment, and had it mobile. So when I was panning down there was no Keylight, and then our gaffer Freddy, he was actually lowering the light and illuminating our both actors separately and following them a little bit, so that we did the exact same thing that we did in bigger afterwards on the table, but the smaller mobile version. And if you're interested in the Intelitech lights or any other lights that we used on this shoot, I will link everything down in the description below. So there you have it. The lighting setup was actually relatively simple. We used one Keylight, we used a background hair light that was also flagged off and diffused, and the rest of the shots was just practicals. But in my opinion, I think we made this scene look really high production value. And I think this is due to the soft top light, because the soft top light just makes everything look so amazing with a really nice high quality of light. I hope you liked this lighting breakdown, and if you did, then please give this video a thumbs up because it really helps the channel grow. And if you want to see more behind the scenes, making offs, or even a color grading tutorial on Two Truths One Lie, our short film, then let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe for more because there will be a lot more cool videos, cinematography breakdowns and short films, etc. And I hope to see you on the next one.